Are you feeling sick? Feeling any type of way? Don't worry. Unjanitli got you. From whatever sickness you got. Are you feeling like a flu plus changing seasons? You know? A flu shot. Anything you want. You want to start having sex or you're already having sex? It's okay. Come here for prep and pep. Or HIV positive, don't worry. Come here, they'll provide you with the best counseling ever to start your journey of being HIV positive. Don't worry, Unjanitli got you. All of this are just a tip of what they provide. They provide so many stuff. It appears on the screen right now. If you want to consult, and then you want to know about more of the things that we didn't mention, call them on 079-113-2656 or email them butlogwa@umjani.org. I repeat, for consultations, 079-113-2656 or email butlogwa@umjani.org. Irish. My guy. It's been long. It's been a long time since I've seen you. December,
yeah. The last time it was when you came through the remember?
Tripod.
Yeah.
I don't think I remember. The last time I remember when I get the time to shoot at the podcast that didn't come out. Because the last time I remember seeing you, besides those other days, I don't think I remember seeing you.
Mara, that day it was just an in and out thing.
Yeah. Or even that day Jaras at night. Opla Jaras kito chadi mic.
Yeah.
I'm
talking about that
remember.
day.
Oh, room short. But how is it going besides the podcast, like you as a human being?
Let me just say I'm coping, though.
What's your coping mechanism?
There's lately what I've realized is I'm trying to bring myself closer to myself, you know what I mean?
Oh shit.
Yeah, so what used to interest me doesn't interest me anymore. What?
So are you saying your pussy doesn't interest you anymore?
Nah, man. I was never not like that, man.
Okay.
Yeah, but it doesn't interest me.
But you know, that's like, I've never heard someone say that, and that's one of the best things I've ever heard. What used to interest me doesn't interest me anymore. Yeah. That's how grown you are, like, for 2024.
Yeah, I think you're gonna see a whole lot of changes, and you know, where there's change, there's growth. Growth comes with change. So you start realizing, because of, remember, yet again, I look at my age. This year, dog. This year I'm turning
28.
No, not even, dog. I'm turning 30, dog.
Shit.
So you start now.
Damn.
You need to approach.
I just did a comment on you.
Yeah.
Damn.
So you start looking at life different. You start approaching life different. You start wanting to know, okay, whatever that I'm doing, why am I doing it and everything. Yeah, because of Emona is the scariest part of my life right now.
Do you think, whatever, like doing the podcast, the media house, everything that you do you think you are too late for everything, considering your age?
No, I'm not. And I never even thought about it.
Because every time I do things in life, I look at my age. Mama Zala told me this other thing again. When it comes to school, go to school at the age of going to school. Do everything at the age of going to school. Like, if I was 30 right now, I don't think I would be going to school right now. So that's like, whatever thing that you're doing right now, the podcast, media house, everything that's going on in your life, are you at the right age, or you're too late?
I think if you're taking it that route, and putting age there, you're boxing yourself. Because of yet again, you must look at certain things in life. Ne? Let's say right now, ne? Let's say for instance, I'm just making an example. Let's say I never went to school.
Okay.
Ne? Not saying I didn't go to school, but let's say I never went to school. Ne?
Yeah.
I'm 30 right now. 3 years to come, I'll be 33. I'll still go to school for 3 years and
Exactly.
you get what I mean?
Makes sense.
So when you're
Yeah,
putting
yeah,
age on it, you're boxing yourself, dog, because of yet again, dog. Let me tell you something. It's something I used to do before. I always thought by 16 I'll be doing this, and by 16 I wasn't there. When I'm 21, I'm gonna do this, and I wasn't there. So now I started seeing ring, not or I did ral. Did ral mara after that age when occupying you.
Makes sense.
One understand. So it's all about what you want, and if you want it, let's say now you 23, you're saying by 25 you wanna be a millionaire. One understand. It's possible as long as you have a plan that will take you within 2 years
and you
to
stick
get
to that plan.
Exactly, dog. If it's sometimes you can stick to the plan, Marokrelor is the wrong plan.
Oh yeah. What about discipline? Don't you think discipline has a part in it?
A huge part, because of self-discipline is key. That's why I'm saying, like right now, I'm bringing myself closer to myself. I'm on a spiritual journey on really like getting to understand my powers. I think even self-doubt, no one is immune to self-doubt. Or what? So now I'm challenging myself not to doubt myself. If you get can you go 1, 2, 3? But someone is doing it that way. Or what? So I want to limit that. I want to challenge myself instead of doubting myself. I want to. Yeah.
Hey, 2024 seems like it's going to be a pretty good job at the Golden Podcast.
Yeah, man. We and yet again, if 2024 doesn't give us the results that we want, we move on. We continue. As long as we don't stop, we're still on the track. Dog, we might get our breakthrough when I'm 40 10 years later.
Did you get whatever thing that you were hoping for the Golden Podcast last year?
Hey, way too much, dog.
Well,
Because of I think like last year I only set a target of saying I want to get to level 5, and then somehow somewhere I ended up being on level 10. I don't even know how. You get my point. Yeah. So hey, there's a lot, dog. There's a lot that I achieved without even thinking that I would even achieve it. Excuse me. And there's a lot that I didn't even know. The certain spaces that I found myself tailoring, I never even thought I would be in those certain spaces. So in terms of growth, I think there's a lot that's coming through with the Golden Podcast, dog.
You know, we were speaking when we were going to the shop, ne?
Yeah.
You mentioned so many stuff. Of course, some of them I won't mention them on the podcast, right? But you mentioned the podcast won't longer be like an actual, like how we are podcasting right now.
Yeah.
It will be a much bigger thing for this whole.
Yeah.
Can you please take me through all of those things that you were saying?
How can I put this without
Incriminating.
No, the thing is, I've realized something. Ne? I look at my target market. I go back to the drawing board after 2023.
Okay.
And then I'm like, okay, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Understand? Sometimes, and you thinking you're selling this sweet, your target market would be kids. But you find out your target market is not kids. People who are buying are not kids. Understand? So I think now when I went back to the drawing board, I found out my target market is not the actual target market that I thought it was my target market. So it was broader than that. It was way too complex. Okay. So now, Mona, the podcast it's a solution for most people in my hood to a point more luring. Someone relies on the Golden Podcast for information.
Shit.
And now I need to expand it and be big. I need to answer the callings of those people by luring they believe in the podcast
Golden
so
Podcast.
much. Yeah. So now I need to divide certain rooms so it can accommodate everyone in my community.
Damn.
Yeah. So speaking of media house, that's the direction we're going.
Expanding.
Yeah.
Like limitless. You are just going. You're just trying to see which works, and if it doesn't work, you try another one.
Because I was looking at the biggest media house in South Africa. I was like, okay, for me to be the biggest media house in South Africa, I need to start at my hood. So I want to be the biggest media house in my hood.
Damn. And I think you are. Not that I think you are.
Yeah,
you are because
blessed.
Because everywhere you go, even they don't even know you by your first name. Gustavo. It's all about Gustavo.
Yeah, man, the alter ego.
Because even at that side, let's say I go to a crib and I don't find you. I start going to the spots that I find you at most. Gustavo guy. They're like, Gustavo, yeah, Golden Podcast. The man I get to see. I'm like, damn. So this guy was working.
Exactly,
So you are big in your hood, dog.
I wouldn't say I'm big in my hood. You know how I can put it, man? Whatever that I do, before I can play, but charity begins at home. So if whatever that I'm doing, if I can do it proper from where I am, it will grow from where I am.
Damn.
Well, I understand. I don't need to even go outside my hood for me to, like, I can spend the whole of 2024 in my hood without even inviting anyone outside my hood, and I'll still get content for days, dog.
Shit.
Like, I promise you, it's just that some things you need to go out to learn what other people do outside.
Yeah.
But I can spend the whole year in my hood without even going out and give you content for days.
Damn. And there are so many things that are going on, especially in the past week. I want us to talk about the thing that happened in the past week, especially in your hood, because your hood was the one that was mostly affected.
Yeah.
The ANC thing. What happened? I know you. Let's not talk about the bus falling and then the whole week. What is happening in your hood the whole week with the ANC?
Hey man, first and foremost, what happened in my hood, it was very tragic, horrific, and it was a very sad moment. Even now, we haven't woken up from what's really going
from
on.
the wound. It's not that easy to grasp.
Exactly. But then here again, you understand, at the same time we're mourning, at the same time we need to get production going on. So we had a whole lot of leadership from the ANC, from the government, coming in and out of my hood, making sure that the families are well taken care of by Tutuzega. Like those type of things. So we're able to get to be on the ground, understand, cover certain stories, and throughout the whole thing that happened last week, the content was too much for podcast.
Damn, what do you mean?
It was the content that we have as the Golden Podcast was way too much, to a point where we decided with stakeholders, or we're just gonna have to have a documentary.
Oh shit. I thought maybe you meant like the content was too much for the podcast. Isn't like it was too much for you to cover everything?
No, it was too much for me. It was me saying it was too much. It was too much in terms of it's too much for one episode.
Okay.
Understand?
Okay,
yeah, and I cannot have multiple episodes on one thing. So
now
now I'm thinking of just getting that thing documentary, and we'll see how.
That's why you've been spending this past days, weekends with
Amen. Yeah. Hey, man, it's something else. I haven't been sleeping for days now. And that it all goes back to what you want.
Nah.
Yeah.
Anyway, you don't feel bad for not sleeping because you know exactly what you want.
Exactly.
Did the ANC in your region ask you to do it, or you just volunteer to do it?
No, remember I'm a media house.
Okay.
So I don't, if you're saying nah, the thing is, you know what, that's a very good question, because of now I think it will even easy off things. Because of certain people will think, that one is captured, they're giving him money and everything until, like I said, I'm a media house. I'm a journalist. Understand? If I'm a journalist, I can't wait for. I'm an independent media house. I can't be relying on someone to call me saying, "Hey, mona renale party kamo. Hey, mona, we have a gathering here." I need to have a good research team. I need to have people on the ground. I need to have a whole lot of things that goes in for me to cover a whole lot of things. And everything was in place. Everything was in order. From the whole structures of ANC, I have people. Understand? I have ground force. I'm a media house, dog.
So
know
you
what I
have
mean?
you have everything in on the ground ready. You just have to blasting if with a full blasting.
Exactly, dog.
Tsara.
I have a ground force to a point where it will shock you, dog. Like most people, I remember even recently I was talking to one of the stakeholders, Golden Podcast, saying the numbers we have on socials, they're not a true reflection of the podcast.
Okay.
I'm telling you, like, I'd post something and I would get like maybe 10 reactions. And on the ground, when I'm on the ground, I'd meet maybe 20 people telling me about that post. You get it? Yeah, so it's way bigger than that. And I'm so grateful, man. Like, people from my hood, they're very supportive. From private sector, from everything in my hood, dog. I don't wanna lie, the support is massive.
What I like about the podcast,
Yeah.
is that it represents the hood, because the very first episode that I watched, like full length episode, it was Zoli Sayer, but then the other one was the Councillor Wada, this other old guy.
Oh
that was the
Mr. Hamise.
Yeah. It represents Kore. It really shows Kore. This thing comes from East Level. That's why you even get the people, like the people let's talk about Mabu at the thing, the people who are rooted there.
Exactly.
So that's why even the guys on the again, your people on the ground, the Sabago supporters. So because of you take the podcast, and then why for the people, because it's like we are saying it belongs to you.
Exactly. Like at the end of the day, besides me being a Cape City born nigga, understand?
Yeah.
I started my schooling in my hood. Understand? East Lebanon, and now I get East Lebanon, going to Jersey, wherever, finding greener pastures. I still believe I was still in grade 6 when I left my hood.
Okay.
But I believe I got the best foundation from my hood. Nek vile East Lebanon ke khono wa pasengamla. Aka group ta singamla fitla Jersey. One dollar. Yeah, so which means everything that I knew, the only thing that amazed me was big buildings and stuff, but then the morals, the principles and everything, I got them from my hood. So now it's me saying, I want to take my hood to the world so that the world can see, or why am I Major Gustavo? Understand? What made me, where I come from and everything.
Let's get back to the ANC.
Yeah.
It was trending after the funeral that those guys were using the funeral to like bring up their own propaganda and agenda. Did that really happen? I didn't watch the funeral on Facebook. Did that really happen? You were there as a media house.
Yeah. Speaking of that, you know how I can put it, ne? It's politics, though. At the end of the day, we can never shy away from it. Let me give you a scenario. Right now, Nalwena, let's say we're playing for Chakuma or Polokwane City, for instance. We are on a bus traveling. Okay, let's say we are hardcore supporters of Polokwane City. We are now in a bus, let's say Baraloka finally some sort, and they're like, we're going to take out buses so that you can get to the stadium and watch the game. On our way there, unfortunately, so accident. Don't you think they'll also have that thing, sympathy, or no? Those are our people. We need to take pride, embrace and celebrate those people. Wouldn't you think Polokwane City would do the same? Would come to our hood and do whatever that ANC did. Never mind the financial muscle of the political party. What do you think?
It's a very good and a tricky question, but
and trust you me, they'll make sure that they come there with the merchandise at Polokwane City to even get more supporters to support the Polokwane City. You understand? Exactly.
Now that you put it that way, yeah, they would.
So now, most politics being politics, certain people understood, okay, we're going to have, remember the whole media, I could say, it was all rooted in
From
East
the
Lebanon.
SABC, ANC,
ANC,
all
newsroom,
those,
whatever. Even from provincial, we had Capricorn,
Capricorn
FM.
FM,
We
yeah.
had everybody in East Lebanon. You understand?
That's right.
So now, that's a big platform with all the media houses that are there. So everyone wanted to make sure they leave a statement. You understand? But for me, I would say, because of when they, like for instance, when Figile Barking, when Razmataz was given the platform, he ended up, I wouldn't say attack or whatever, but then he ended up speaking of Zuma. You understand? Kara funerally the supporters ja ANC.
It's fucked up.
Oh, you
That's
get my
fucked
point.
up, yeah.
And also Stan as well, our premier, also ensured the ANC, or remember there were speculations and rumors around him, or he might leave the party or whatever. He also used that platform to assure the ANC, or no,
he's not leaving.
I'm not leaving.
Shit.
You understand? So a whole lot of people used the platform however they wanted to use it. We had funeral services that also saw, okay, we need to advertise. Like it was a big platform.
It's like that's say another man's loss is another man's win in some way.
But yet again, it was different for the Golden Podcast.
Okay.
You understand? Because of, yet again, let me tell you something. You know the strength, the power that I needed to gather, or I needed to have for me to cover this thing. Number one, remember all those people who were there, especially Ausim Sima. Very close. I was very close with Ausim Sima to a point, Moloring, even Khutman Mlaza. We're so close, Moloring, to a point, Moloring Mona. Nadula lining yak.
Okay.
I understand. She was very positive. Someone Moloring, Emona. It was sad. It's a loss on us, dog. Like, I don't know if you understand the loss that we had. Like, for instance, Awesome Sima never knew the podcast ding ding, but then she always emphasized on Ntwal net we hole. Ntwal net we hole. Like you want the positive person who ring Nelly. So now it's hard for me, or okay, we're mourning, and yet again, I still need to get the show going.
Exactly.
You understand? So now the certain things, that's why for the Golden Podcast, it was a different ball game. Because of at the end of the day, yet again, there's certain questions that the society is asking, but then they're asking amongst each other. They can't get to relevant people. You understand? So the Golden Podcast is a media house. We were there to voice out the questions of what? The community. Even the question that I asked General Secretary of the ANC, Figile Mbalula, it was not my question, personal question, Gustavo, or from the Golden Podcast. It was the question that was on the ground force, because of our research team came with whatever the people on the ground were saying, and then we found out, okay, amongst those 5, we had like more than even 5 questions. We had more than, I could say 10, 12 questions. But because of, remember, the time was limited and how the media spaces work, there's you need to give other journalists chance about deal, and that might be the chance. So amongst those questions, I only had one question which was on top of the list. So
which one was that? What did you ask him?
I asked him during the week. We had the Deputy Minister of Transport saying they're busy with investigations, or what happened and everything. So now we wanted to know how far are they with the investigations. So because of at the end of the day, it's the public's interest. You understand? So hence I'm saying it's not a personal capacity. You understand?
Like it's a community project.
So and like I'm saying, that's why I was like, okay, this is too big. Let me just document everything so that the digital footprint can be there even when I'm gone or whatever, so that we can, the lives of both especially
those who passed on.
Exactly. It was you understand? Because of what the ANC might do for them, but then
the little that you've done is
exactly.
enough.
Yeah.
We are talking about the ANC again, and us shooting a podcast, the Golden Podcast, Madhousecompilationpodcast. This area vote. I don't want to ask you what you're voting for because it's already clear. Is it clear though?
No, it's not clear, dog.
What's clear for you?
I'm a media house, dog. I don't fall under any religious organization. I don't fall under any political organization. Talk, I'm neutral. But I'm gonna vote.
Okay.
Because of it's my democratic right. For me
You're
to
still
vote.
a human being after all.
I'm still a human
and
being
you're still
after
South African after all.
Exactly. Yeah.
But my point was, do you think we're as podcast, because we have to be honest about something. Not everyone watches TV. People are on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like you were in the house. We were watching Netflix. You were not even on whatever thing. On Twitter.
Yeah.
So my point is, do you think we're as the YouTubers? Should we like get more politics on the podcast, or campaign or whatever thing if they are campaigning, or we should just leave it like that and let SABC do their thing?
You know where it goes back to. Remember, as the podcast, you are a content creator. That's why I'm not necessarily saying I'm deviating, ne? But then that's why I wanted to be broad. That's why I'm always learning. That's why every opportunity that I get, I always want to learn. Ne? And if you want to be the best, you learn from the best. The best that we have in the country, you look at them, even on radio, you'd hear register to vote for certain parties and stuff. Ne? You know why? Because of its advertisement space. If now the ANC comes to your podcast, they say, what are your rates of us advertising on your platform? You give them the rates, and then they pay for the rate. Your advertisable. Why not?
Of course, money is money.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, we need those advertising spaces for us to live. We're born and to live. So, and number two is still the public's interest.
Damn.
I can't remember how batlisha mo, how batlisha uri. Hey, muto vote la EFF, vote la ANC, any, wang understand?
You know what we should do? Channel debate. Sara, I get in your hoodie or ANC gonna Sara the whole hoodie now. I will share every single word. Marefuna, let's say word 1 for example. I get ANC and then what 6 years EFF. But debate or why should this year vote the ANC? Why should this year we should vote for EFF?
Okay, let me ask this. Would you bring them on the Madhouse compilation?
I would.
And then would you bring them 1 or Bali 2?
Both of them.
Okay, it's still fine. Now, how I'm approaching it this year, I'm doing it differently.
Okay.
There's something I'm launching on the 30th of March. Ne?
Okay.
Yeah, so what I'm launching there is I'm going to have a space, a platform created for current affairs.
Okay.
You understand? Where, however we're going to structure it, we'll be having those politicians there. We'll be having those community leaders there. Something like Kolani Kuala does it, and these new ones are also doing it right now. You understand? To a platform where I'll be shooting live. I'll be taking calls. We'll be looking at certain things. You understand? Yeah, that's what I'm planning to do. Because of these elections are one of the biggest. These elections are so big, like
it's like this
the 1994 2.0.
The same is going to be.
So, as a content creator and especially in the podcast spaces, you need to look at. And yet again, the tricky part is, I don't know what's your objective of you. Or your motive of you saying we're doing this Madhouse podcast. I don't know what you have planned on paper. You understand? Even the I'm quite sure you don't know the objective yet, the podcast or where it's all. But then I would say go back to the drawing board every single time. Go back to the thing why you started the podcast, why you wanted the podcast. It will always give you answers of where you are right now.
It makes sense. Damn.
Because remember when I started the Golden Podcast, we said it's the people's voice, the voice of the voiceless. One understand? If you don't get it, that's why I'm saying if you don't get it, forget about it. If Khutšo right now is saying to me, Emona, we can use Lion instead of this phone, but I take it. I wouldn't say, I take it. And if they don't get it, it's not on me. It's on
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Yeah. But then, besides the whole thing that you spoke about the Golden Podcast this year, again, what about the podcasting space this year? Do you think we need more podcasts?
Yeah, I think we do.
Okay.
I think we do, and I think this year we're gonna see a whole lot of new podcasts. I bet you not.
Especially because of the environment our country is in this year.
Yeah.
We really need a lot of podcasts.
Exactly.
Also, nothing I hate like someone saying this work as podcasts that are coming up. Hey, that's one of the things that I hear about South Africa.
Saying what?
Workers podcast coming up. This workers podcast that are coming up. You know, I hate this statement because in America there's so many over 100 podcasts right now that I can think of. There are over 100,000 subscribers.
Exactly.
And in South Africa, I'm pretty sure we haven't reached the 100 market or maybe I'm exaggerating. We haven't reached like 500 market podcast. So for this year, we should definitely have more podcasts.
We should.
Like we need more voices.
And you know why I'm saying we're gonna have a whole lot of podcasts this year, ne? That's why right now I was like, I need to hold back a bit with calling celebrities.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because of most people, when they think of a podcast, the biggest podcast we have in the country is McG, dog. And McG being the biggest podcast in the country, we would look at McG and want to do something different from McG. You understand? But yet again, we don't understand his main objective of him saying, I'm having a chiller podcast and thing. You understand? We don't know why to me what was his motive. Maybe at that time when he started, he wanted to have celebrities because of celebrities. Never come and they understand. But right now, dog, you look at people like RichyB. He
doesn't give a fuck about celebrities. That guy, that guy inspired. Like, I look up to that guy so much, man.
Exactly.
Doesn't give a fuck about celebrities.
If we're not talking in terms of numbers and we're talking in terms of feels, how we feel, I'd say he's the biggest podcast in the country.
Who RichyB?
Yeah.
Right now, ne?
Right now.
You
know why? Dog, there's nothing more important than you achieving your goal. And he did that multiple times with his podcast. Understand?
And he's still going,
But the scariest part I'm skeptical about him is now I want to see the pressure of him because of he started this thing as Lena Nanyoko Tsusa, the up and coming artist. So now he used to be an up and coming podcast. Now he's a well established podcast. So I want to see this year how he's going to maintain that throughout the year.
I want this thing. I have his number on WhatsApp. Quick, this thing.
Nah, dog, he's an OG.
I wonder how we'll take this one.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a good point to raise, though.
Yeah, because of his one humble person, but yet again, dog, I don't want to lie. I grew up with people who were humble. They started getting certain opportunities. They started getting certain things that changed their lives dramatically. So, and now they started changing in terms of psychological behavior and their mental behavior started changing. You understand? Because of they would see things differently. Because of right now, it's hard for you to get 1 rand, and now you can get 1 rand easily. So your behavior changes.
So do you think his behavior changed immediately after he saw he's getting numbers?
Nah, remember my primary statement was I'm skeptical in seeing or utlo change like utlo behavior through 2024. Remember 2023 it's a request. We're done with Skomoto. We're done with that.
But you know, South Africa is like there's always that one crazy person. So I don't think if we're talking about him specifically, I don't think he'll ever be under pressure, especially in the country that we live in.
Being under pressure, he'll never be under pressure. But all I'm saying is, Doc, you know, Mfethu, like for instance, right now, who amongst your list of people that you wanna get on the podcast, like who's on top of your list right now?
In what way? Like,
Who would you like to have right now? They would say, Khutšo, we have this guy.
I would really like to have Penuel, the Black Pen.
Exactly. Do you see how difficult it is for you to get him?
Yeah, it's really difficult.
Exactly. Right now, you might send that to RichyB. Shapaka blue tick.
Wait, you mean like Ankam Sena Larat on the podcast?
No, like whatever that you want to talk to him about. Today, I'm going to phone now. You WhatsApp.
I think he did blue tick.
Okay. Arrest my case.
Yeah, he did.
Arrest my case.
He did blue tick me. You are right.
That's why I'm saying lately, I've been avoiding to get into certain spaces because of I want to get closer to myself. I don't want everything going down to my head. I understand that too. Like after the barking, I want to let this year. I think I can. I'm voting this year podcast of the year. I'm voting Madhouse Completion. I'm even nominating it because of now I'm already done for this year.
For this year,
Doc, I got the president on my podcast.
Damn, yeah. Now you got Minister of Transport, aka Secretary of the ANC on the podcast. So yeah, your year is done. Wow. Damn.
And it's only January.
That deserves a round of applause. Damn.
So I need a filter. You understand? Already it means saying I need to work hard. There's something wrong. There's something wrong. I need to work hard, dog. This year I wanna break boundaries, dog. This year I wanna report live from Beggarsford. I wanna report live from Lebochum. I wanna report live from Seshiu. You understand? I think we need to, as much as Kile Pocaster is 11, Media House is 11, but then remember, boundaries are only there to divide our power. You understand? All these places go to Beggarsford, Barking, Lebochum, Seshiu, Muleji. They're still part of Limpopo. They're still part of Bapedi culture or whatever. Remember, we have the biggest 3 tribes in Limpopo, which is Sepedi, Tsonga and Venda. You understand? So, as we need to be dominant. And that's why I want to let me talk iPhone. He was never saying, oh, okay, I'm from the US, I want but why US but say iPhone. He was broad. He thought about the next person who can somewhere ever. So my statistics is no longer about I want Khutšo to watch my episode. It's about I need a certain age group, I need a certain demarcation of people to absorb this information, to take this info. You understand? That's why I'm saying you need to change for you to grow.
So with you expanding, I get.
Yeah.
And listen to this statement. Being the only podcast in South Africa right now to have the president, does it mean you're the biggest podcast right now? Nah. But do you know that you're the only podcast in South Africa to have the president? Literally the only podcast.
I think it's because of. That's why I never shy away from growing the podcast. That's why the content I'm consuming right now is bigger than the podcast. That's why I'm becoming a media house within my hood. You understand? Yeah. So, because of yet again, the podcast is a tool on its own. You understand? And like you saying, the past week, all these things happened, transpired in my hood. And what was I supposed to do? Fold my camera and understand and to
you have to be then tell
exactly.
The stories.
I wouldn't say I'm the biggest until I get certain people, because of he was not even in my list of getting onto the podcast one day. I never even dreamt of getting the president on the podcast.
Who would you like to get as your dream person on the podcast?
Tibotash Molefe. Yes, if I get that guy on the podcast, dog, I'm done. I'm done, dog. I'm telling you, it's him, Skim GP.
Damn, you should have him. You left. I remember when we shot last year, and then I asked you this question. I remember asking this question. Kafajagarim, with you and Skim GP, you're going to have the best podcast ever.
Yeah,
because of you are one person when excuse. So you really have to get him.
Yeah, but I don't wanna lie, dog. I grew up looking up to that guy. Like you know, but role model, how do you choose? You know what the eye sees and the ear hears, it becomes easy for the mind to consume. One understand? So nkulile kasi, and I was exposed to gangsters and stuff. But then yet again, it's how you consume it. I think I best believe from where I am, I consumed it positively because of okay, you need to get a job. Still stay in your yard, but at the back room, make sure that your room is nice. It has all the new latest trendy gadgets, and then from there you buy a car. Like it has always been that. You understand? So Luana, you grew up saying, okay, and I'm in what. And then as you grow, you start hearing all these stories. That's a convict or con artist and stuff. But you, from where more naked Wabona Ramoto is not a criminal. He was fighting poverty.
Are you justifying criminals?
No, no, he went to jail.
He did his time. Yeah.
He did his time for all those things. All I'm saying is, whatever motivation they had, hunger was the motive.
That's hard.
One understand? Damn. Because of because of look at what they did. They always they come back and they empower themselves in the hood. Robin Hood. Would you say Robin Hood is a criminal?
Nah. We were saying for liberal like Skin GP and all the others.
Yeah. But
then now we gotta move on to Skin GP. We will back to the podcast.
Yeah.
Last year you were working with Letreecha. Is the deal still on with Letreecha?
Yeah, man. With Letreecha, it's more of equity trading.
Okay, what do you mean, equity trading?
Equity trading, I don't know how I can explain it to you, but I can give you an example of what is equity trading.
Yeah.
Understand? You remember back in the days when RIP to Ricky, when Ricky was still alive and Casper, what they did, you'd see Ricky on Casper stuff and you'd see Casper on Ricky stuff because of one understand. I don't know who was mentoring who or whatever. But with my situation is different because of our under the mentorship of Matumara, big shout out. I've learned something. You always need someone to give you an opportunity for you to elevate.
Okay.
So he came there and gave me an opportunity for me to elevate. One understand. So 2024 we haven't started with Sip and Shop, but then once we get that going, we're rolling. One understand.
Do you mind talking about the episode you did with RichyB?
I knew you were gonna get there, man.
No, I want to ask something, but do you mind talking about it? Let's talk about it then. You did Sip and Chilla Matoma Le Malebo, which was one of the best episodes on the podcast, my favorite personally, I get. And then you did another Sip and Chill, you did it with RichyB. You shot the episode, we only saw the pictures, we've never seen the full episode. And then
now I need to wear my PR cap, dog.
Yeah, podcaster, what do you need a PR cap for?
No, because of I never thought you'd ask it from that perspective.
Okay.
Honestly speaking, you realize you are a brand as Khutšo Matlame. Madhouse Compilation is a brand on its own. So I think as shooting with RichyB, we're hoping to get certain thing that's in line with the two brands. One understand. But unfortunately so we shot it and it wasn't nice, man. The sound quality of it wasn't nice. You get what I mean? It was yeah, the sound quality. So
why are you copping out?
Yeah?
Why are you copping out?
No, I'm telling you the honest truth.
Nah, you're being a bitch ass nigga.
I'm telling you, we're still gonna shoot more episode with him.
Damn,
yeah, because of Eliona. The picture is showing, but the sound is not showing.
Did you have a conversation with him about the episode?
about the episode. I gave that to the team
Oh,
because of he was dealing with the team directly. Or what. Like most of my guests, dog, I have a team. I have a research team. I have people on the ground, like I said earlier on. I have people who would say, okay, hey, Joe. I even have people who would say, we're bringing Khutšo to the podcast, and they'll give me notes or who Khutšo is and everything.
Like you have a producer, content creator.
Exactly.
Or you have a whole team of the
I could say, but as much as it's a small team,
it's still a whole team.
Exactly.
I mean, one, it's a whole.
Exactly. We're not even 5, but then, like I say, I respect my team. One understand. And if the team saying this is not good, regardless of how bad I wanted that episode to be out, I did however that I could for that episode to come out, and sadly so we couldn't. And it's not a train smash because we still have RichyB. We have a good relationship together, and it's a win-win situation, man.
You're talking about a team, and on my notes I wrote something about a team. How important it is to have a whole team, like in the podcast.
Yo, it's everything. It's everything. Without a team, there's no podcast, dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. So can you please break down your team, and even though you can mention names and about this one specifically?
Okay. I'm not going to talk about my research team because of that might put things into jeopardy. So how I've structured the podcast is, it's a board of directors. And then from the board of directors, we come down to the regularity office and the PR office. Those are our wings. We work with the PR office and our wing of regularities. On the regularities, right now the head of regularity, the head of legalities and everything that has to do with legal stuff, that's on my mother.
Okay.
And then on the PR side, I'm heading the PR side with subdivisions in it. One understand in terms of marketing, research team and everything. And then I have head of production. Head of production being Hazel Mpati. One understand, being my girlfriend. So she's the head of production. You'd see most of the time she's behind the camera. One understand, most of the time. But then now, coming into 2024, we're changing it. We're giving her another role because we have a new head of production. I understand. I have a new sound engineer as well. And then I also have a ground force team, the head of ground force. And like I'm saying, I don't want to disclose my head of a ground force team. Understand. And then I also have
you have a whole lot of people who have a specific job up to both.
Exactly. I did 5 things.
Okay.
Because of it's a small team. Understand. But as much as I don't want to mention names on who does what and everything, I would like to give shout out to whoever is making sure at the end of the day the people get the episodes on. From transport, from like, that's why I'm saying it's a whole team, even though they're not affiliated with the podcast to a point Mara, they make sure that the podcast keeps on running on daily basis. One understand? People who are responsible in total operation expenses. One so I've got Grootmans, like lady Grootmans, they make sure your ring. If I need to get to a certain place, I get there. Some would give me their cars, some would give me petrol money, some would give me, making sure at the end of the day I have that episode Khutšo Matlame. You understand? So those people, I can never at any day forget them. So Lebona, as much as they don't have certain rules in the podcast, but I need to give exactly one like Grootman Jara, Grootman Matumi, like Muna, there's a whole lot. There's a whole lot. Bubra Elias, like there's Kintwana ma Grootman. I wouldn't lie. Exactly. Until like Nalibu Pratola. Like there's a whole lot of people that make sure you're this thing, it reaches its full potential.
Kupola, last year when we were shooting our very first podcast, with you of course, you were with a woman and your little sister. Does she have any role, your little sister, in the podcast?
Yeah, she has a big, huge role.
What does she do in the podcast?
She's on the she's on the socials, and she's a younging, and she has quite a huge number of followers. So it's a duty to make sure that those people on her platform know about this platform of Golden Podcast, so that it can reach. What?
Yeah. So who runs the Facebook page of the podcast?
The head of PR.
Ah.
It's PR. It falls under PR. So the PR handles all those social platform things.
Is it hard to do business with a woman?
How? What do you mean? Oh, is it hard for someone to do business with her?
No, for you.
For me.
Uh-huh.
Hey, I wouldn't say it's hard, but it's the most challenging part.
Okay.
Yeah. Remember, you need to filter that. Sometimes, you, especially when I want work done, we would invest, like we would fight about something in 20 podcast, and you know how girls are. Women will suck. Don't understand? And to a point, now it will dwell on the relationship.
Exactly.
So you also need that filtering. It mustn't get to the other side. Don't understand? So you need professionalism at a high level.
What about being like, let's say you're having problems in the relationship? I affected the podcast.
Nah, if it more affected the podcast, then it means she's not professional enough. Then it means
what if you are not professional enough?
It can never be.
It
can never be. It can never be. The only thing I know, and let me tell you something, it's a secret. And your viewers, the only thing that's keeping the podcast running, Doc, is professionalism. If I wasn't professional enough, Doc, I wouldn't even think the podcast would be where it is today. Yeah. So
it keeps on falling.
It is my duty to dwell the energy of professionalism into her. And you know, the nicest thing is our relationship is rooted from we involve God in so much in whatever that we do, me and my girlfriend. Whatever that we do, I always make sure God leads the way. You understand? God protect us from whatever that we don't know, we don't see. You understand? So that we can get a proper full production of what we're doing.
Would you marry her?
I'm marrying her. What do you mean would I marry her? Like?
Wait. What do you mean you're marrying her? Is she a fiancé now?
Not yet. I'm still waiting for that proper right moment. Maybe on the 30th I might go down. I don't know.
Are you Fruitman Chauvin? Yeah? You got to Chauvin at this moment?
Not in that way, man. Yeah, man, and big shout out to him as well, man. Yeah, he's doing wonders. I just wanna see how is he going to narrate the whole Mole Music and Media Awards this year. I think this year they're gonna be big.
Bigger than last year.
Yeah.
Plus last year it was like the reception was nice, especially for the first event. The reception received was nice.
What do you think went wrong and what do you think went right, big?
What I think went wrong again. First of all, stay away. I think we released it last year again. Those categories which the buy, some categories were unnecessary there. And I think released it in front of me, so we're not talking about it now, revive it. I'm saying because of repeal. Categories like the buy. So this year, if Lodas will not tagan, Sanjora make sure the categories are less and diba more useful. They could categories useful fair. Regarding best graphic
what do you
design.
mean diba useful? Like, to understand that. Give me one category.
Best graphic design. That one should fuck off. Like I didn't support it at first, but because of as a concept, I can't have a say in it.
Why? Why? Because of I don't understand the logic behind it.
Okay, sharp. Anyone can be a graphic designer. Not anyone, Mara. I can start to be a graphic designer right now.
But your people will nominate you then.
Yeah, but then if I am good, I am good. I don't think as a graphic designer I need an assurance of an award that I'm a graphic designer. I'm a good graphic designer.
Hey, Khutšo, hold up. So you're saying, repeat that statement again?
I'm going to repeat it exactly as I said it, which means that I mean it.
Yeah.
if I'm a good graphic designer,
Exactly.
I don't need an award to assure me that I'm a good graphic designer.
So what are you saying about those other categories? They need those awards to show the best in what they're doing.
Nah, not really. Hey, you really caught me. But specifically, I'll talk about the graphic designer one because of Kibona useless in some way.
It's not. It's useless because of you far from it.
Nah.
Yeah. Every category there, it's proper. You know what I think can be done better? I think if we can change the venue, or if you're going to have the same venue, like I think now it needs to be between Mr. Mafuna and the establishment. They must just, state must just be the technical sponsors to start with, so that on the day of the awards, you don't have those people saying, anymore. You get my point? There must be order. There must be professionalism. There must be, you get my point? Someone might take, I was even watching my video the other time when I took the award. I was like, there was no need to even give a speech. Because of
no one was listening.
Exactly, because of everybody now is doing their own thing and everything. So we need to instill professionalism in this award. Because of, let me tell you something. Limpopo Boy got nominated for some award. We want to take that serious because of it's not from our hood. You understand? So if we have a proper pedigree of the plan, what we want to do on that day, and get the right stakeholders, get the proper right people there, it's going to be what it's supposed to be. You understand? I think he also needs to let go of his shoulder saying,
who, Limpopo Boy or Shobani?
Shobani.
Okay.
I've seen this with Questa. For Questa, he would let you know, certain department, let them run that. Let me trust them to run with that. If a producer is a producer, whatever production, I leave it to him. If you need to it's PR, I leave everything to the PR. You understand? So it doesn't mean because of you doing Questa's PR, I also need to see what's what. I just deploy and you understand, look or monitor from wherever I am, or okay, this thing is going accordingly. Get more investors, get more sponsors on this. Let's grow Butokwa as a whole. Let's unite. Let's get into that thing. Because of one thing I'm also skeptical about is how we get, regardless of me winning the award, but then the manner on how we get it. I was expecting an envelope, taking out the name. Like, there's a whole lot of things that, but then, I don't know, I'm still going to have him on the podcast.
You know what killed me last year? Yeah. Talking about that. When I lay that other gay guy, he represents the best DJ.
Gate, something.
I was beauty. I don't know from beauty, yeah. Did you see how he represented the award? Kinna, Koena, Kimani, while he was holding the thing. Like the professionalism upon like that's what is needed.
Exactly.
So, if this time idea or Breeze Butcher, I think we're more successful because what we are done, well at the awards. Because at states, what we are done for in Tramatom, well at the I won. But I risk like at the awards. I wanted to talk about because this thing here related to awards, we kept a woman, I guess. Or would you marry her and you said you want to marry her? And then, are you planning on proposing anytime soon?
Yeah, man, proposing is something else, Doc. I'm at a point where, remember, number one, you can't just go down on your knees. I'm a black man. You understand? I need to send my uncles, I need to send my family representative to go there and represent me. It's like, I'm like, there's a whole lot of things that goes into that.
Yeah,
exactly, Doc. And you can't just marry, dog. There's a whole lot of things that go in there. But one thing I'm sure and definite about is where I am right now. If I get everything right, proper, how it needs to be done, she's the one.
Damn.
Why am I wasting time with her?
Nah. Shit. Have you ever cheated on her?
Nah, no.
Would you ever?
remember, cheating on her is not cheating on her. It's me cheating on myself.
Yeah, that's another thing.
It's me lying to myself. But then I've never.
Ever been tempted?
Nah, dog. I'm satisfied, dog. I'm good where I am, dog. I don't wanna lie, dog. I'm good, dog. I'm good. I went. This guy.
No, we have to check on the other group, all angles.
I'm good. Unless something happens tomorrow, but as it stands right now, where I am, dog, my woman is the person that I wanna spend, I would say, the rest of my life with her. Because of if not spending the rest of my life with her,
in your intro, you say Ubabaka Azania. You see the mother of Azania?
No.
Damn, now that would be an interesting story.
No, she's not the mother. But then, yeah, man, we're planning on having babies as well. But then, hence I said, in future, we learn from our mistakes.
You finally got something to drink?
No, I'm chilled, don't worry.
Oh, okay.
As I was saying, we learn from our mistakes. As I'm saying, we learn from our mistakes is, remember, the same thing with Aza. Aza was planned, but then things didn't unfold according to plan. You understand? So now, I understand, okay, I need to do 1, 2, 3, so that even when the baby gets here, I read. Or a relationship doesn't be sour or anything.
Fall out.
My guy, let me tell you something. If the foundation is not proper, the house can be proper. You understand?
Makes sense.
So right now, I'm good where I am, dog. With her, I'm satisfied.
Damn. So you regard her as... Wait, I want to know again. Since Azania doesn't stay with you, like you said, you mentioned before we shot again.
Yeah.
Your girlfriend, does she have a problem with Azania?
Why would she have a problem?
Because you are starting Mechaka one now, not starting Kazira Sira.
Nah, dog. It's not even like that, dog. It's not even like that, dog. I'm gonna like like snaps and videos of them together.
Damn.
Like, that's why I'm blessed to have someone like her in my life. You understand?
That's
Someone who understands, okay, yeah, fairly. Maybe she said, understand. So it's if she really loves you and she understands the type of guy I am and everything, it's not there's no baby mama drama in my life. Which means I'm a genuine man who she would want a man like me to raise her kids. Understand? Exactly. Why she never have even the bond with even as a talk when whenever I'm on the phone with her, she would even ask where's she? By 1 and 2. Yeah.
What does Azania refer her as, mom or? I get bored, I know.
Why did you moving on to the next one.
It's coming out again.
No,
but it's fine. Hey, we spoke about so many things. Let me check if we didn't. I'm pretty sure even the memo again. I didn't even use the memo today. So, what do we have to talk about? Nah, I think we spoke about almost everything that we needed to talk about. Even this time, this conversation, I believe it is much better than your last year.
Yeah,
So, the only thing that I'm hoping for this year, whatever New Year resolution that you had or you have, it come up to reality. So, even the event that you are having on the 30th of March, or again, Easter what?
It's East Lebanon Easter Hangout Music Festival.
Okay.
Yeah, man. On the 30th.
It's a festival, even.
Yeah, it's a festival. Like I wanna have a day. I wanna have a day event from 3 o'clock. Let's say from 2 o'clock, right up until it can accommodate until 6 o'clock. I understand, even kids or whatever. And then from there, going, I wanna bring something new, something refreshing. Something we've never had in my hood. I don't know if you understand.
Yes,
we have events in my hood. We have shows. We have brilliant people.
But you don't have festivals.
We don't have a festival.
Yeah, I got you.
One understand. And something big might even happen because of, remember, so this festival thing comes within the blood. One understand. So
preach.
Hey, let me not spill out the beans, but then you understand. We're trying to get relevant people so that we can even celebrate his life while we're doing that. One understand. That's why I'm saying I want it to be a day thing, live bands, artists, music.
And I'm definitely there, man.
Yeah, man. And like the whole, you should cover it, dog.
Exactly.
Please, man, please. We'll
go.
be there. And one good thing about it is I'm even giving young local creative opportunities for them to get a platform so that they can get that feel to take whatever they're doing respectively.
Plus, you know what I hear about Butokwa is a whole like Letreecha is living like an outcast. That's one of the things that I hear about this place of ours.
And that's how they also treat Major Gustavo within the spaces of Jabutokwa. They treat me as an outcast because of I'm from. I'm telling you, dog. You want me to show you practical things, dog?
Tell me what happened.
Yasuga, my dog. I'm telling you, I'm being treated like an outcast within.
Because of what he's living?
Exactly.
Nah, fuck.
Okay.
Like an outcast.
Why would they treat me like an outcast? Because of, in certain spaces, especially with the industry I'm talking, they want me to lick asses for them to accommodate me.
Fuck their asses.
But they
want
not
like fuck their asses.
There's people that would dollar things for me, but then for them to dollar those things for me, I need to be an S-lecker. That's why I was like, exactly, understand? And you know why? It's because of understand, okay, why do I need to prove myself to these people or to this niche market? They want me to show ring, as much as I am from East Lebanon, we can do this, we can do that, we can do, I understand. To a point, they're not even relevant to my life. They're not even relevant to my hood. Even Batubaka they'll treat them as an outcast. One understand? And which is, I don't like what's going on. That back and forth thing. One understand? Mara yet again, if it's like that, we need to stand firm on the ground and say, East Lebanon, we stand firm. And remember, East Lebanon came about Ramakhopa. One understand? And Ramakhopa is developing. We also have on the 31st of March, we also have King Chef Khau. He's doing good things.
Yeah, he's doing one of the best things.
Last year alone, he managed to.
And on his first event, damn.
Emona, there's big things happening in Ramokhopa. I can promise you that. Wang understand? We've got Kalula did the only truth music as music. Wang understand? So we're like, okay, if they want to outcast us,
it's fine.
It's fine.
Let's be the outcast. No cast while we are out.
Exactly. I understand. And I pray I mustn't be misinterpreted.
When you don't know. Okay, whoever misinterpret this, fuck you.
Yeah, Mara, if the shoe fits, then it's okay.
It's fine.
But let me tell you something. I've been undermined so much by the industry to a point it gave me more strength for me to fight for my hood. One understand that I think. Because of at first, you know when you're preaching for peace, if you want peace, you must prepare for war. Everywhere I go, I always go for unity. Let's unite. Let's be bigger than whatever. One understand? Okay, I'm from East Lebanon, you from Butokwa. Let Butokwa be great. One understand? You from Sishiwa, I'm from here. Let's collaborate. Let's make Limpopo great. From wherever angles, wherever we are. Alone, talk, you can't do things. But together we can build a strong thing, talk. We can build something, we can move whatever wall, whatever boundaries, really united. So certain people want to be gatekeepers. How do you become a gatekeeper in an entertainment industry?
Damn.
And then some of them you'd say, hey, I want to do this and this and this, and then they rush and they do it wrong, and then you keep quiet, you stick to your own plan.
Hey, this industry is crazy, man.
Yeah, man. And to be honest, dog, the youngins, they need to learn. They need to learn.
Shit.
They can learn so much from the Golden Podcast. There's certain niggas that I see that they would do. Some of them, dog, they would never even ask. Hence, I'm saying we need more podcasts. I wouldn't mind, like I even said this beginning of the year, I want to see more podcasts from my hood. I was even telling Tabang Badaur, I want to see more podcasts from East Level.
Nah.
I want to see.
Why is the podcast demand? I know is he part of the part of the golden?
Tabang Mona is the spine of the golden podcast.
That's why you are okay.
He's
Because
the spine.
Every time we have a conversation, I'm like, damn, this guy should have a podcast. The way he holds his conversations.
I don't know why he's not having one, but then if the idea of him wanting to have one comes to his mind, I'm always there to help him to construct and whatever that he needs from me, I'll be there. Because of Emona, that guy, he's the guy behind the numbers of the Golden Podcast on the ground force. Yeah.
And that's what's needed, man.
Exactly. And he wouldn't shy away from telling, like, even after every event or whatever episode I shoot, I always go to his house, tell him, this is, no, we need to move this way. No, Gustavo, look at, I think he's the only one who keeps me grounded from
and he's honest, I get
his brutality. We call it constructive criticism.
I think that's why he's an EFF agent. The way he's so real and constructive and brutal, he deserves to be an EFF agent. So if you think about EFF agent, doesn't it bring like what's that interest? What again?
Conflict of interest.
Yeah, conflict of interest.
I would say it comes up, but then it's a matter of how we deal with it. Because of already, when whatever relationship we had, we started our relationship knowing, hey, this one belongs there and I belong here. You understand? So we have certain amount of respect for each other's views and opinions and values. So you understand? They will never even. At the end of the day, in fact, you can support ships, they support pirates, and
but
we become
can still
friends.
be good friends.
Exactly.
The relationship is more good when we have opposing opinions.
Exactly.
The
day I don't have that guy in my team,
things diva.
Hey, because of I know, so I'm gonna be carried away. I'm gonna be carried away doing content. He always bring me back to life. Gustavo, if you're doing it like this, it's no longer gonna give us this and this and this. And I'm so grateful. And I must say, he also plays a huge role in making sure that the people get to see
the Golden Podcast.
Exactly.
We've been speaking for like over an hour now.
Yeah, man.
We have a lot to talk about you and I, Mara. I want us to carry it here because I can like so many things. Because when I don't know about you, Mara. Now I want you on this podcast almost once a month.
Yeah.
Especially since because I know him when it comes to stuff that are happening in the country. You're always spot on.
Shout out.
It's like you remind me of Penuel in some way.
Yeah.
That's why even though the episode the one we shot last year is a drop, Mara actually wanted to do this one because I know it's going to be fire and it's going to be different from that one.
Oh, yeah.
So thank you so much for pulling up to the Madhouse Compilation Podcast. And I hope the next coming months you won't mind coming to this podcast again, have another conversation. I wouldn't mind it. But the next coming months in Chaka, I'm gonna be fully booked. I hope the same thing about RichyB doesn't get to my head. I'm fully booked until June, dog. As long as
I'm kidding, man. I'm pulling a leg, dog.
You know what I like.
House is always a home, dog. And there's so many spaces still ring. I'd wanna be hands-on in making sure the Madhouse compilation it grows even bigger than what it is today. I wanna contribute to the growth, Madhouse as wherever, whatever, how I can contribute towards it.
I really appreciate that. Then I remember when I met you for the first time last year. That days one at that time when you showed me like the whole plan of the Golden Podcast, it really changed my mind when it comes to podcast. Like the world of podcast, changed my mind. the very same time when I the thing or the volume podcast in a this and that, then my mind literally changed. Because when you opened a new world for me when it comes to podcasts, and that's why I'll forever appreciate you. Whenever I grow up, we always wanted to have Kileric on the podcast. Whenever it doesn't happen, and then I know how he is off I'm always there to defend you because of the impact you had in my life when it comes to podcast. When last week we were meant to shoot and then whatever happened, but I still had to make sure whenever even if today didn't happen again, if we to make sure we set up another date until it happens because of how you shifted my mind when it comes to podcast. I'll forever be grateful.
And shout out, I don't want to lie, I'm grateful. You know why? Because of, remember from that day, that picture, I posted it and I was like, Botoko will never be the same. The industry and podcast will never be the same because of two stars coexisting. You know, in the sky, there's always a room for every star to shine. So, real recognize real. Wang understand? So that's why, and with the Kid Lyric issue, I'm glad you were there to defend us. But then there's actually nothing to defend. It's just that that's how he is. I think I don't know if you get it now. When he has time, I'm occupied with something. When I want him, he's occupied with something. So the universe will eventually bring us together.
I feel like you and Kileric, like the universe, one of you to get big. So that the other one can reach the other one. I don't know if this makes sense. If the Golden Podcast reaches 100k subscribers and then Kileric is still here, I hope you won't RichyB him.
Hey, you're not gonna forgive me for that. But it's not RichyB alone. Talk. There's a whole lot of episodes that I didn't take out because of
I don't mean it that way.
Yeah.
I mean like
yeah.
So if the day he gets big, and I'm 100% sure he won't whatever thing he won't RichyB you.
But from far looking at Kid Lyric, I don't want to lie. I think Kid is he's covered with humbleness now until he breaks through. I know you didn't take that because he's your friend.
Oh no, I definitely agree with you because I just thought of something and then you are right. You are right. Yeah, 100% spot on.
Understand. So now he's upatam. He's taming that who he is. He's taming that who he is. And the sooner he untames that, he blow up.
And then you're going to see the real killer.
Exactly, you understand. He needs to start showing it now as a breaker through. That's who he is. He can't shy away from that. Dog.
Nah, he has his reasons. That's why he's not doing the.
But when I being close to him, what's your take on that? Would you advise him to be out in a Kid Lyric or appeal that PR life?
Nah, he's not living a PR life. It's just that not as someone who's close to him again. I don't want to say the things that he says. In my own opinion, Mara, I'm going back to what he told me. What he told me. Mara, I could say, let me PR it afterwards. He should do whatever he's comfortable in. That's what I can say afterwards.
But the tricky part is what nothing grows in the comfort zone.
That's another thing. But we're not talking about
okay, yeah, man. Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up.
Madhousecompilationpodcast, Khutšo Matlamela. Even though he's not here, but behind the camera is the Irish. Because he's going to edit the Golden Podcast. Are you selling the teas?
This ones they were sold out. It's merchandise from last year. I can promise you, I think after the 30th of March, we're getting new merchandise from Scales. We've got a new designer right now. So something new is coming.
Oh, so if you are selling, tell me so that I can buy.
Yeah, don't worry. We're going to sort you out.
No problem. Major Gustavo, Babaga Duduzani. Can you please do the intro?
Babaga Duduzani is Jacob Zuma.
Oh, Babaga Zanya! Can you please do the intro? I love the intro too.
Are we doing the outro, dog?
Yeah,
right
can
now?
you please
Yeah,
do the
man.
outro?
Yeah, coming to you live from Madhouse Compilation Buffet. You already know what it is. It's me, your boy, Major Gustavo. K1 number 1, the whole time, the whole gang, the baby daddy. Utataga Azanya.
Hey.
Out. Cheers,
Thank
man.
you so much.
Lovely dog. Lovely dog. Where's that moringa?
It's finished.